Hey everyone, my name is Sam. Thanks for checking out this video. If you get to the end and liked it, then subscribe, bell notification, and give the video a thumbs up! We are once again going to ignore the fire hazard that is this candle. I have lots of candles and I like the smell of them. And I guess I could move it. Well, it just dawned on me. Anyways, we're leaving it there. I also don't know what's going on there or there. I don't know anymore. The November haul. I'm fairly sure I had some bullshit idea like, oh, I'll be getting very few books in November. I was full of bullshit. None of these were on my Elster list or anything like that. And a couple of them were like pre-orders, but like, I got no defense in all honesty. I just bought books this month. Oh, and I've got to get back into the habit of doing this because I'm not doing the weekly review things right now. Currently, as I am filming this on the weekend, the first weekend of December, I think it is, I am reading My Contrary Mary and The Tombs. So far I'm enjoying both of them. I will probably finish The Tombs today, which I'm kind of amazed with myself because it took me forever to pick it up. Anyways, onwards to the books that I managed to accumulate the month of November. Alright, starting off, I picked up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I held off on pre-ordering this just because I have liked her Shades of Magic trilogy. I'm not building a cult shrine around it. I have liked most of the stuff that I've read from her, but she's not like an auto-buy author for me. So I waited to hear reviews from people that enjoy her work but are not like cultish about V.E. Schwab, and everyone seems to have liked it, and I was like, okay, good. I'll grab it now then because it was on sale on Indigo. I think it's normally in Canada $35, and then for the first like month I think it was out, it was down to $25, so $10 off, and I've heard really positive things. I don't love the cover of this book. I feel like they hired a designer, but like I don't know why they did black and gold with nothing else. This and the UK covers were just like wildly underwhelming for a book that is so hyped up. And then I saw that, like, I knew Owlcrate was doing a special edition box for it. I didn't get it. And then I saw that literally all they did was take this exact design and print it directly onto the hardcover and called that an exclusive cover. And I was like, I would have burned things down because that box was like expensive. Like the Holopox box that I bought was like, I think it was $35 US plus Canadian shipping, and that for me was like, that's like $50 US converted into Canadian. We're at like almost $70. Like that's a lot for one book. I'll do it because it's a special edition that I just absolutely adore, and I didn't regret that one. That box did not disappoint, but this one, I would be pissed if I paid for that exclusive cover. I just know that there's this like undying character, and like she meets with the devil or something. I remember I read the summary of this when it first got like announced, but France in 1714, in a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. As she realizes the limitations of her Faustian bargain, being able to live forever without being able to remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee her small village as everything she once held dear is torn away. I feel like that's an interesting power that I've seen in a lot of books, but with side characters, never really a main character. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna do, what that's gonna do, and having it in a historical fiction rather than a complete fantasy world will be interesting. So these are the end pages and the underdash jacket. You can't, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there are birds kind of embossed that way. Maybe they could have put the birds on the cover in the gold to do, or something. I don't know. This just is very simple and very like, oh, this looks like a placeholder cover, you know what I mean? So, but I've heard positive things across the board, so I am excited to give it a go. I picked up A Hero Born. I think it's, I keep wanting to say A Hero Is Born, but A Hero Born, which is the book one translation of the, I think it's called the Condor series is the official title in English. And then my bookstore, I'm kind of surprised, got books 2 and 3 in stock. So I picked up the paperbacks of book 2 here, which is A Bond Undone, and book 3, A Snake Lies Waiting. Honestly, this is one that I was like, I don't know that I really care if I like book 1 or not, because it's just such a well-known series that I'm like, they've tried to translate it a few times and it just hasn't worked out quite as well. They seem to have put a lot of time and effort into translating this one to actually make it like a proper, like, accessible book. Like, translations can be really sloppy. So I know that they've used a couple different translators. I think Anna Underwood was the first, Holmwood, sorry, and then they have another girl, Gigi Chang, that I've seen on these. So I'm curious. I like the concept of having two translators to help kind of bounce off of each other, because not every word, especially when you don't even have the same alphabet, has an equivalent word in another language with the same meaning and everything. So I hope I enjoy it. I just want to read this whole series. Honestly, even if I have to push myself through it, I feel like it's just such a well-known series. I'm invested in that. So I have book 1 already on the shelf. This is book 2, and then this book 3. I think there's, no, I shouldn't even say. I was like, I think there's 6, but I can't even honestly remember anymore. So I got books 2 and 3 now. I was unsure if I was going to buy this, and then I was at the bookstore and I bought it. The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I have not read anything by this author. I know he has a couple things out, but I don't know. I've just heard some people talking about it, not even necessarily in like my book clubs or anything. Maybe it was at work or something like that. People were talking about it and having this discussion about it, and it's like, oh, it sounds really interesting. All I really know is that it's 1634 and there's like a murder on a ship or something like that. And so they have to figure that out. So I'm kind of always interested in historical murder mysteries, or just historical mysteries. Also, anything nautical I've been like super interested in the last couple of years. I think it was probably like my love of Daughter of the Pirate King, but I find that setting really interesting. Just like what happens when you're in the middle of the ocean and like something bad and unplanned happens. Like, you fucked, what you gonna do? You gotta figure shit out. So I'm curious about this, and I was surprised. I thought it was coming out in hardcover. Maybe it did, but it just came out a month or 2 ago, and they have the paperback in stock at my bookstore. So I was like, you know what? It's $25. Seems fairly reasonable to me. So I also like the background. And I knew this book was coming out because I think it's Goldsboro had this beautiful edition with sprayed edges. Just with the cost with conversion and shipping from them for a book that I didn't know if I was going to like from an author I've never read before didn't make sense. But I hope I love this. So this was honestly just a pure impulse buy, and I don't regret it. It's so pretty. A Clock of Stars, The Shadow Moth. I think A Clock of Stars is the series name, but I think this is just book 1. So I don't... It's Chris Riddell is the illustrator. He seems to illustrate like everything now, which, I mean, I'm glad he's never... Being an illustrator and staying employed seems like a rather difficult thing to do. So, it's originally by Francesca Gibbons. It's so freaking cute. It reminds me of the cover that I have from David Walliams' book, which is another author that I've only read 1 book. I didn't know he had books. I just knew him as a comedian. And then I like looked on Goodreads and it's like, he has how many books out? How the hell am I going to catch up on that? So I just haven't caught up on that. Oops. The end page here is this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous map. And, whoops, the under dust jacket is this like dust pink, and then a clock of stars with the stars going around. Whoops, there we go. And it's time for a magical new world. I hope this is a series, because I would love like another like, I don't know, just book will cover with like prettiness on it. Imogen should be nice to her little sister Marie. She should be nice to her mom's boyfriend too, and she certainly shouldn't follow a strange silver moth through a dollar in a tree. But then who does what they're told? Soon, Imogen and Marie find themselves trapped in a magical kingdom where no one behaves as they should, and the sisters must move fast to escape the monster that comes out after dark. The monsters that come out after dark. Longing to return home, they find help in a spoiled prince, a dancing bear, and even the stars above. And it's so pretty, the cover. Like, you see the little moth, but like all of this foiling. I was like interested in this because I read the author's original like big work, I guess, a couple months ago. The first one, I was like, this is all right. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't anything about it. It's all right. Canadian author. And then I saw that they had this book coming out, and I was like, ooh, it's so pretty. So I made a rule to myself. I said, if you see it in person and it has any sort of reflection-y, then you're allowed to get it. And if it's in the bookstore, okay? No ordering this shit online. Why do I put those limitations on myself? I don't know. To make it more difficult for me to buy books because I have enough. My bookstore had it, and there's like glittery reflection-y, so I had to buy it. It's so pretty. This is one that like, even if it sucks, I want to have it on my bookshelf because like, it's just really pretty to look at. You know what I mean? So, The Midnight Bargain, it's C.L. Polk. So I read Witchmark, the first book. I don't know. I don't know. I'll see how I feel after I read this one. Maybe I was like, maybe I'll go back and give Witchmark another go. I didn't hate Witchmark by any means, but I was like, I don't know if I'll continue on with the series. So I want to try this one though. I have heard absolutely nothing. Not a thing in terms of reviews on this one, which doesn't totally surprise me because I feel like Witchmark kind of came randomly out of nowhere on my timeline, but it had been out for like 3 years when people started talking about it. From the beloved World Fantasy Award-winning author of Witchmark comes a sweeping new romantic new fantasy about a sorceress who must balance her desire to become the first great female magician against her duty to her family, which, like, that's just like all women in history, right? Beatrice Claiborne is a sorceress who practices magic in secret, terrified of the day that she will become locked in a marital collar that will cut her off from her powers to protect unborn children. She dreams of pursuing magic as her calling, as men do, but her family has staked everything to equip her for the bargaining season, which I'm assuming is like when they like courting season or whatever you want to call it. In a stroke of luck, Beatrice finds a grimoire that contains the key to become a mage, but a rival sorceress swindles the book right out from her hands. Beatrice summons a spirit to help her get it back, but her new ally exacts a price, Beatrice's first kiss, with her adversary's brother, the handsome, compassionate, and fabulously wealthy Ianthe Lavaine. Sounds like chaos. Oh, I should show you. There's nothing special on the end pages. And the Underdust Jacket is this like foresty green, and then that's the spine. I was like, I've just been waiting for Chasing Starlight to like, I knew it wasn't going to come in bookstores up here, especially because the author's just not big enough. But I was just kind of waiting for like a sale of some sort, and I finally found something on Black Friday. I think it was down to $17, which you're not going to find anything cheaper. They don't put anything on sale for cheaper than that in Canada. So I grabbed it on Black Friday. This was like the one book I found that was on sale that I wanted. I already read the arc of this and I absolutely adored it. This is a book I definitely want to do the edges on. That is one of my goals for 2021, is to learn how to do some sprayed edges, and this will be one that I want to do it on, is the pink. Or maybe I'll do like a dusty rose. Some pink or magenta-y kind of to match the front a little bit. And yeah, I would love, actually, honestly, if I could eventually figure out how to do ombre, to do like a gold to rose gold on the side for this one, but I don't think I have that sort of skill. Either way, I will try it, and I also highly recommend this book. I loved it. I wanted my own finished copy. I've been debating picking this one up anyways. I enjoyed Sky in the Deep. Okay, and then I saw that they kind of did a cover change for book 2's companion, and I honestly read Sky in the Deep and didn't think it really needed a companion novel, so I didn't end up reading that one, but I enjoyed Sky in the Deep for the most part. Some people are a little cultish-y about it, the way they are about Schwab, but everyone has just been absolutely raving about this, and then it got named for Reese's YA book club pick, and I don't really participate in any celebrity book clubs, but I really like that Reese Witherspoon has gone into something other than adult genre to promote YA books, and she's done a good variation of books as well. So I thought this was just a way to kind of promote them keep doing that, because if they're not selling books, then they're not going to keep doing something like that. And my bookstore had it in stock. I also didn't notice until I saw it in person that the eye has like a ship in the reflection. I also know that book 2's cover matches book 1, so I was like, oh, relieved. And yeah, I like just a lot about this cover. I'm not a big fan of like people on cover, but this looks clearly like designed people on cover. It also reminds me a lot of Brave, which I'm curious about. Yeah, it's really pretty, honestly, in person. It's completely matte printed, which is basic, but this actually doesn't look terrible with that. Nothing on the end pages, and Underdust Jacket has this thing. That's why I like that she publishes with Wednesday Books. They always do something on the Underdust Jacket. So there's this. I think it's supposed to be like kind of a compass, and then the spine is also blue there. Welcome to a world made dangerous by the sea and by those who wish to profit from it, from where a young girl must find her place and her family while trying to survive a world built for men. Aren't we all? From a 17-year-old Fable, the daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows, the sea is the only home she has ever known. It's been 4 years since the night she watched her mother drown during an unforgiving storm. The next day, her father abandoned her on a legendary island filled with thieves and little food. Wow, what an amazing father. To survive, she must keep to herself, learn to trust no one, and rely on her unique skills her mother taught her. The only thing that keeps her going is the goal of getting off the island, finding her father, and demanding her rightful place beside him and his crew. Bitch, I would just kill him. I'm sorry. This has a lot of elements, from the sounds of it, of Daughter of the Pirate King that I enjoy. I love Daughter of the Pirate King for a variety of reasons, but the relationship between Alosa and the father is a big, interesting mess, and this sounds like kind of that, just without maybe some of the comedy elements. So I am very curious about it. I finally got my Holopox copy, the North American edition. I already have the UK version from Waterstones. I found out a week and a half ago that there was a misprint in the UK editions, which I think just makes it more valuable. So apparently I'm getting a replacement of that in the mail, but I just genuinely don't really care. I'll have a billion copies of it anyway, so. But this is the North American copy, basically. It's a little shorter, and they don't do anything on the edges because North American publishers. I have read it. I read it like the day it came out. It's amazing, and it's confusingly, despite, I know it was written before all of this happened, but accurate and helpful and relevant to the world we're currently in. And yeah, Underdust Jacket is black, and that is the spine. It's kind of disappointing how basic the North American publishers went with the Nevermore series, when the UK publishers literally do like an entire scene on the Underdust Jacket hardcover, and like, that's just disappointing. But I have it, and I'm going to be collecting as many editions of this series as possible. It's also been 2 months since the Finnish language versions of books 1 and 2 of the series shipped from Book Depository, and they've never shown up, and they don't offer tracking to us. And so they said they were at Book Depository 2 weeks ago now, said they were going to send me replacement copies and to just let them know when either package showed up. But honestly, it took 6 days for Canada Post to scan my box that came from Calgary to Edmonton, to scan it as accepted, and then 6 days to scan it as processed. This was not even a Black Friday thing, so this is just, Canada Post is absolute shit right now. So maybe it'll show up by February. I could only really be angry if I only spoke Finnish, but they're just collector's editions, and I just want them eventually. I also got my pre-order copy of The Bright and Breaking Sea by Chloe Neal. I just wanted this because it's been pitched everywhere as lesbian pirates, and I was like, I want that. And I don't think I've heard, no, that's not true. I think my friend Ryan has read it, or read an arc of it, or something like that, and she loved it, or she hyped it up to me. Someone did. And then it was like on sale when Indigo did a sale a couple weeks, maybe it was late October, when I placed a big order and I included pre-order. So I pre-ordered a bunch of my 2021 books on sale. And this was when then I was like, screw it, I want it. Brings Kit Brightling, rescued as a foundling and raised in a home of talented girls, has worked hard to rise through the ranks of the Isle's Crown Command and become one of the few female captains in Queen Charlotte's fleet. Her ship is small, but she's fast, and in part because Kit's magical affinity to the sea. But the waters become perilous when the Queen sends Kit on a special mission with a partner she's never asked. Ryan. Oh, that's probably why my friend was interested in it, because they even spell the name the same way as her. Ryan Grant, Viscount Queenscliff, boy, that's a mouthful. Viscount Queenscliff may be a veteran for the Continental War, but Kit doesn't know him or his motives, and she's dealt with one too many members of the Beaumont. But Kit has her orders, and the Queen has commanded them the journey to a dangerous pirate quay and rescue a spy who's been gathering intelligence on the exiled Emperor of Gallia? I don't know. Again, anything nautical has been super interesting, piquing my interest lately, so. Also, I love the cover. This looks very badass, female, breaking gender norms, so I'm excited. I think it's also start to a series as well. I finally broke and bought the sequel to The Girl Who Could Move, The Girl Who Could Move Shit With Her Mind, which was like the Scorpion TV show meets like the X-Men movies, kinda, in a contemporary setting. And so this is the sequel, Random Shit Flying Through the Air. Honestly, I bought this book because it has the funniest title ever. But I actually ended up really, really enjoying the book. So I picked up book 2 as well once I saw it in our bookstore. And I have no idea when I'll read this. Probably, I maybe want to read them back to back. Yeah, and honestly I have no idea if this is the end of the series or not, but Either way, I have the sequel now and I'll get to it. I also picked up a copy of Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur. The cover reveal for the next book that she has coming out was revealed, and it's also very pretty, so if I like that, I'm gonna get that one too, probably. This was one that I placed a request for an arc of it and not even got declined. I just never heard back from the publisher through NetGalley, so that was annoying. And it was if they have it in your bookstore, you're allowed to buy it, not buying it online. So I picked it up because our bookstore had it, which I'm quite surprised because it is a female-female romance, and I live in rural Alberta. I mean, I live in a city in Alberta, but most of Alberta is just like, if you're not Edmonton or Calgary, you're rural. And fun fact, Alberta is very bigoted against LGBT people, especially. They've come a long way, according to my coworkers, in how they treat people of different races, which is a weird brag to have. But, oh boy, the homophobia, in this province is bad. Also the anti-maskness. Yeah, we're doomed. In her debut, with nods to Bridget Jones' Diary and Pride and Prejudice, which is what caught my eye because, as we've established, I hate all of the stuff that I've ever read from Jane Austen. Love all the retellings for some reason. Alexandria Bellafleur delivers a charming rom-com about a free-spirited astrologer who agrees to fake a relationship with an uptight actuary, with results not even the stars could predict. I want to say that it's set in Seattle too, based on what the cover is. I don't know what it's actually called, that tower in Seattle or whatever. And the last thing I got, it was honestly, like, a Christmas gift for myself. I finally bought my own copy of Scandalous Sisterhood of Prick Willow Place by Julie Berry. I adore this book so much. I read it through the library the first time, and I have just fallen in love with Julie Berry's content. I've read The Lovely War, this book, and oh my god, what's the other, something Dulce. Oh my god, I can't remember the name. I think I hauled it because I didn't think I was going to reread it. And it had a basic cover. Anyways, this was kind of me starting to slowly work through her back catalog, and it's just fantastic and wonderful and whimsical and so weird and just a great middle grade. So I waited, and I think I ended up getting it for like $9 because of sales, and then I get 10% off with my bonus plum points thing. You're not really gonna find it for any cheaper ever anywhere. So I went and bought it, and it's so good. If you have not read this book, I so freaking highly recommend it. It is so good, as you can kind of tell from the cover with this cup here. Someone gets poisoned and dies, and it's at the school. And the girls essentially do a weekend at Bernie's because they don't want to go home. Even though their governess school isn't ideal, it's better than what their at-home situations are. So they weekend at Bernie's it to try and make sure everyone thinks that this lady is still alive. So those are the books that I managed to accumulate in the month of November. I am actually quite proud of myself though, despite, I know this looks like a lot of books. They're all books that I was interested in for the most part. I think the only exception was like The Shadow Moth, but that's so pretty. So pretty. I watched for sales, and I didn't buy anything that was on my Elster list. I was kind of bad for that last year. This year, if anything, like These Violent Delights came out this month, and my bookstore actually did finally get it, and I sat on my couch for like 10 minutes being like, they have it in stock, you could go get it. You could go get it. And then I was like, but you're not going to read it. It's not on sale. Well, not that I'm not going to read it. I definitely want to read it for sure. But I was like, you have no chance of actually picking that book up, especially because there's no audiobook out right now. You have no chance of picking that book up and finishing it within the next like 2 to 3 months. Wait. Just wait. You can either wait for it to go up on Book Outlet if you ever play. I haven't shopped on Book Outlet in a while. Wow. Or if it goes on sale, or if you get gift cards for Christmas or something. Also wait, because it may go on Indigo's staff pick of the month next month. I've been burnt a few times on that. But just wait, because like put it on your TBR, and as you get to that month, buy it if you still don't have it or if you don't get it for Christmas. And you know what? I didn't go to the store. I'm very proud of myself. Also, I shouldn't just be going into stores with the coronavirus. Thankfully, my city, I shouldn't say thankfully, we are still hovering at about 100 cases between our county and our city, so we have a mask mandate. But Alberta is like 10% of all testing has been positive now. We're just an absolute mess, but it seems to be huddled very much in Calgary and Edmonton. And then our premier's like, you have a right to protest, and then goes on a Southeast Asian radio show and tells all of the Southeast Asian people who are working predominantly in service industry to stop spreading the coronavirus while the Proud Boys are at the anti-mask protest, and he says nothing. So I'm just glad, I guess, that we are seem to be, I mean, it should be going down, but people aren't actually wearing their masks. But, yeah. Anyways, I'm just staying at home. I will link all of these books to their Goodreads pages down below. I will also link all of my social media. If you follow me, I will follow you back. Black Lives Matter. Wear a mask. Stay safe. If you are eligible to vote in the Georgia election, please don't forget to do so.